So welcome back. We're still working with Chapter 3 on the history of women in healing America's narratives. And I just want to go back to just about 16 years after the formation of the country. So we're in 1792, and one woman who did not make the Atlantic crossing, she stayed in Great Britain, Mary Wollstonecraft, who wrote A Vindication of the Rights of Women, with strictures on political and moral subjects, often considered the first real feminist manifesto. She accused British men, the British society basically, of keeping women in a state of ignorance and slavish dependence. And she asserted that the tyranny of man caused many of the circumstances that limited women. For her efforts, she was ridiculed. She was received very well by many people, both men and women, but harshly ridiculed as well, with Horace Walpole referring to her as, quote, a hyena in petticoats. As you might imagine, her treatise has held up significantly better than his ridicule in the last 2 centuries or so. But more than a century after Wollstonecraft's vindication, Lucy Stone in America earned her baccalaureate degree at Ohio's Oberlin College in 1847. And actually, that's more than half a century, not more than a century. And when she was actually asked to write the commencement speech for her graduating class because she was such a good student, she refused when she learned that even though she could write it, it would have to be read by a man. Okay? So you can just hear the example. Okay, a woman is in college now, she does well. You can write the commencement address, but you can't read it publicly. Another example, Sarah Grimke was born the year that Wollstonecraft published A Vindication of the Rights of Women, so 1792. She was born into a slave-holding South Carolina family and influenced by the Quakers. She and her sister Angelina wrote and spoke forcefully about abolition and equal rights for women. And Sarah Grimke is the one who wrote what in our time, the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made famous. But Grimke wrote, "I ask no favors from my sex. I surrender not our claim to equality. All I ask of our brethren is they will take their feet from off of our necks and permit us to stand upright on the ground which God has designed us to occupy." So again, we can hear that in really slow steps, women had to fight, claw, demand, and protest in order to be treated as equal human beings. And we'll continue this exploration about the history of women in the United States in our next episode.